Hi, welcome to today's healing. I'm Kristen, and if you're joining me today, that means that you are ready to make a change in yourself and the world around you. We're talking about part 6 today of the Power versus Force series by Dr. David Hawkins. And we're discussing desire, which vibrates at 125, and anger, which vibrates at 150. Desire feeds the frustration of want, which leads to anger. And that's, they go together. So that's why we're discussing both today. And desire is not in reference to sexual desire when we're talking about it today. It's more in about addiction and want, which then leads to anger. Desire motivates vast areas of human activity. Advertisers play on our desires linked to instinctual drives. They basically take advantage of the viewer and they see something and they want it. And it seems like everyone today is about instant gratification. And so when they want something, everything else goes by the wayside. Sometimes, I knew a person once who was so addicted to buying self-help books that she wasn't paying her rent. And I was like, go to the library or something. But, it's just awful. Or addicted people. Who I knew a person once too who had to come clean to her husband. She was $60,000 in debt on her credit cards from going to the casino, and she was an aide at a nursing home. And he was mad, but he made her get a second job, which is fine, I would imagine. And then drug addicted people who break into homes or kill people or sell their bodies for sex, men and women, or trade sex for a hit of drugs. But it is so overwhelming, these addictions, and that's what happens. Desire is insatiable, so that satisfaction of one is replaced by unsatisfied desire for something else. So you have to be careful. Like some people, they give up a drug or alcohol, but they smoke. And, it's one addiction for another, or they do start gambling, something like that. And people can be addicted to sex. Desire moves us out of the lower levels of stagnation and springboards us to higher levels of consciousness. So desire in that way, when we move out of depression and apathy, desire can lead us to want something. So that's good, as long as it doesn't fall into addiction. A healthy desire for something is just that. It's healthy. And it can move us into the higher levels. But frustrated desires lead to anger. It can be constructive or destructive. Anger can catapult us into the next level. If we want something so badly, we can move toward our goals. Frustration of not having what we need or want. Like some homeless people, they're like, I don't want to be homeless. This isn't me. And they're angry about their situation, and so they do something about it. And that's where anger can be constructive. Where it's destructive is when we carry old wounds that anything can set that off. And we reflect back to those old wounds that stimulate that anger response. And people around us are like, where did that come from? It wasn't even that big of a deal, or, it didn't warrant warrant that kind of response. And anger can be very scary. Anger is most represented by resentment and revenge. We see this when people go after, other people, stalking, or also their desire to be something more because they're jealous, or they want revenge on old schoolmates, or revenge on someone that stole their job, or think they stole their job. And it's just very destructive, and it's scary. Rage and let's see. Malignant narcissists are filled with rage and are highly abusive. This is where I don't want to bring politics into it, but that's why I started this. Because of all of the political strife. And Donald Trump himself is filled with rage and revenge. His whole life is built on this, and to be something more. And you see this in, Stephen Miller and all those others that desire to be more, and they get angry, and so they want revenge. And this is scary. It's a scary time we're living in. Anger can be explosive, which stems from old wounds where the smallest slight can erupt it. And I just said that, but it's worth saying again, because you see Donald Trump erupting into anger. You see Stephen Miller erupting into anger. And Caroline Leavitt standing behind her podium, just seething with anger at any question asked to her that she doesn't want to answer or have to be accountable for. And it's so frustrating to me, which, I'm past the point of eruptive anger. I have been through many years of therapy, but yes, I had some explosive anger. And now when I get angry, I just say, I am so angry, because I know where it's coming from. It is actually stemmed from what it is that I'm dealing with, not from old past wounds. And so, anger is exaggerating the importance of desires. Let's say that again. Anger is exaggerating the importance of desires. When our desires become so important that they overshadow everything else in our lives, that is an exaggeration of desire. So that's why desire and anger go hand in hand, and there's only 25 points on the scale that separate them. So, if you're in desire, be careful of your addictions. Be careful of what it could lead to. Desire can be also constructive or destructive. So if you are in any of these lower levels, be conscious and aware of where you are and move through it in a constructive manner. And if you need some help with this, just contact me, and I can, we can chat or something, and I can help you move through it. That's one of my gifts. Okay, let's do some energy work. All right, so I'm just going with what I feel. And what I'm getting is the third eye in the throat. And what we're doing is balancing it right now, because there are a lot of you out there with your third eye opening up, and maybe, clearing out. So we're kind of balancing those. And your throat chakra, some people can't say what they want to say for fear. So let's balance those out and get them cleared out. And then let's move to the crown chakra and let some of that old energy out. Let it move up. So today it seems that we're working on ourselves, which is what we should do sometimes because it's very important. Let's bring that higher energy into our hands. I feel it in my crown chakra. I'm getting almost dizzy. Let's bring that energy down into our hands through those higher chakras. There's more than just the 7, and I still need to go through all of those. Okay. Wow, I'm really feeling it. It is just really opening up everything here. All right. And energy around our ears. Energy comes through our ears. Maybe hearing what you want to hear, not what you want to hear. Cleaning out our ear system. Okay. Let's work on our throat. Because we need to speak our truths. And anger is stemmed also from being taken advantage of and realizing that, and then saying, oh my goodness, I was taken again. How do they always manipulate me? And so now it's time to be assertive and stand up and say your truths. And now let's balance out those other chakras. Okay. Let that energy go out past the feet into the lower chakras. Take it down. All right. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time. And if you do enjoy this, please subscribe or comment. Send me a message, and I would love to get back to you, or email me with any private concerns that I can help you with. All right, see you next time. Bye-bye.